It's Throwdown Thursday time. We begin with this. Preseason wins don't count. They don't count for the regular season. The play matters, but the preseason wins don't count. Nick Sirianni, though, takes it very seriously and for a very good reason, and he's about to tell you why.
I'm excited about preseason. I want to win those games, too.
Yeah. That's something that you feel like in certain circumstances that you can dial it down.
One thing that I read when I was reading a leadership book this off season was, if you want everyone around you to have accountability and you want yourself to have accountability, then you fussing at the refs is not. It's almost like, hey, this happened, so I'm going to blame that. Right. And so when I heard that, when I read that, I was like, yeah, that hit me like some sort of way. Like when I think about me, with a referee potentially on the sideline, I'm like, and I complain about a call. Is that really sending the right message to the rest of the team as far as our accountability goes? Again, when something goes wrong, the answer should be, how do we fix this and what are the solutions, as opposed to looking for a scapegoat, I guess to say, is how I read it in the book.
So to not bark at the referees if there's a holding call, just look at maybe how the play was breaking down before that. That's Nick Sirianni just trying to make sure he holds everyone, including himself, accountable. Now, the Eagles, we know how that unfolded. Intentionally, we use that word, unfolded last season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Or Mike McCarthy, let's stay in the same division. These are two coaches with something to prove. Peter, who has more to prove, though, this season, Sirianni or McCarthy?
I think a lot of eyes are on both of these guys. For Nick Sirianni to be coaching in a Super Bowl 2 years ago and then to enter this year with like a hot seat forming or controversy in the local media over whether he and Hurts are aligned. That's why I would love to know what book he read. And I feel like we should do some of that ourselves. We're in the preseason ourselves. We're getting used to this new format with us all over the country, coast to coast. Like, is it Adam Grant? Is it Ryan Holiday? Like, who is he? Who is this? I got to get it. I'm going to text Nick. But I don't think he is having the same pressure as McCarthy does. McCarthy's going into the final year of a contract. He's also got 3 players that currently are awaiting contracts in Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and most paramount right now is CeeDee Lamb. All eyes on Mike, and with Bill Belichick taking this year off as like almost a sabbatical and not hired and doing the media rounds, he's going to be hovering over every single Cowboys loss, and his name will be mentioned every single time the Cowboys have a game management snafu or there is a loss in which the Cowboys should have won. I have to think McCarthy has more pressure on him this year than Sirianni, who does have a Super Bowl appearance and does have maybe a little bit more runway there, even though Philadelphia could be quite the pressure cooker if things don't go as planned.
Well, I think that's interesting because, McCarthy has won a Super Bowl, although not with the Cowboys. But, his resume, I think it's proven that, he knows the formula. He can get there, right? He can do it. But a lot of the issues that Mike McCarthy has a lot to do with Jerry Jones. It's not necessarily his issue. Whereas when I look on the other side, I think a lot of the pressure is on that of, Nick Sirianni. I mean, Nick Sirianni is with an organization, first off, that don't give a damn. Remember, they got rid of Andy Reid. They got rid of Carson Wentz 2 years after an MVP season. I mean, they got rid of Nick Foles after winning the Super Bowl. This is an organization that is like put up or shut up. Like, you got us to the Super Bowl, but you weren't able to get it done. Then you go out and all of a sudden, you start off hot, and then at the back end of the season, you melted. So to me, it's like he's the one that has the most to prove, not only to himself, to his locker room, but to the organization. Because that organization, I think we all know historically, the Philadelphia Eagles, the city of Philadelphia, they don't mess around. They want it, and they want it now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Nick Sirianni is the man who has the most to prove, simply because of the fact he has a new offensive coordinator, he has a new defensive coordinator, and he has to try to find a way to bring this locker room back together. We all saw the meltdown at the end of the season last year. I'm not sure that thing is put back together And by the way, he's still trying to figure out if he wants to give up play calling duties to Kellen Moore. So I don't know. There's a lot that has to be figured out there. On the flip side, obviously, with Coach McCarthy, he has, 3 12-win seasons in a row. The only thing that he has really hanging over his head is contract situations, which are going to be figured out here over the next few weeks prior to the season being kicked off. So I don't foresee there being too many issues there. All he has to worry about is making sure that he continues to put these guys in position to get to the playoffs. They just got to deliver once they get there.
Yeah, they won't. That's why I actually think, though, that Mike McCarthy, you think he's under so much pressure. Is he? Just win 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, lose in the playoffs, and they'll just bring you right back next year. It's fine. It's just like you just repeat and repeat. And this is not even just a Cowboys thing. Like, this goes back for years and years of the Packers. Like, Mike McCarthy's brand and reputation is just solid. It is set. It is never changing. He's been a head coach in this league for 2 of the most iconic franchises for the last 19 years. He took 1 year off, and after that year was just given the Dallas Cowboys job. And he's really done exactly what he was brought in to do. Keep the Cowboys relevant, win a bunch of games in regular season. Don't worry about the end of the playoffs. It's fine. Nick Sirianni's still in flux. Like, we don't really know what he is yet. We thought he was maybe this really great head coach. Like, damn, that's Super Bowl pretty fast, guys. Like, does this guy have, like, some McVay in him? And then, like, last year, it's just the bloom came off the rose a lot really quickly. The personality is a little quirky. It's unpredictable, and I love that because, Mike McCarthy, he has a lot of supporters, certainly within Dallas and the organization. He's a sitcom. He's 2.5 Men. He's just, you turn it on and CBS at 7:30 at night or whatever sitcom you're watching. It's like, it's the same thing every time with the same laughs. You turn it off, sort of fulfilled. I think the Sirianni thing is still kind of a thriller. It might end really badly. Or maybe he's like, I got this, guys. I know everybody's crapping on me and the team went last year. I don't know with him. Last year I was like, we didn't know what the hell Dan Campbell was. And Dan Campbell stood the hell up. Nick Sirianni is a mystery. Mike McCarthy, there's no pressure. Just be you, Mike. Churn out the next sitcom, cue the laugh track. And even if the Cowboys eventually let you go, somebody else will bring you in to do the same thing. Sirianni, I don't know. I think that's pressure.